Hey, I'm Jocko Sims. You can find me on social media. That's JOCKOSIMS. Look out for Little House on the Prairie. Probably sometime this summer on Netflix. It's the reboot. They're focusing on the books. It's going to be incredible. And also, if you want to learn more about military caregivers and how you can help, please go to ElizabethDoleFoundation.org.
I'm down 162 pounds in 6 months, and it feels great. Looking at myself in the mirror is a trip. I marvel at myself now because I'm like, man, I've done this in 6 months. 6 months is not that long ago.
I started this program back on July 1st at 288.5 pounds. Today I weighed in at 184. When I first got here, I was sad and depressed and stressed out. Over time, I regained my self-esteem, my willpower, my determination, and those things have helped me to grow and become happier with myself and in life.
Use code TFU10 for a discount on the full body cleanse.
Welcome into another episode of TFU Podcast.
Let's go.
On today's episode, we got one of the most talented people in the industry right now.
Talk about it.
He's an actor, director, producer, Jocko Sims.
What up? What up?
Hey, man.
How's it going?
We made it happen.
We made it happen. I'm in town.
Yeah.
This has got to be the first place I come.
Man, we appreciate that. We appreciate that.
You guys are doing...
I was waiting. I kept telling. I was like, he's gonna come. He's gonna come.
Oh.
We still making the contact, so we're in good shape.
Yeah. Happy
Man,
to be
thank you for coming.
Oh, my pleasure, man. I'm enjoying this weather because I don't know when this is going to air, but it's crazy in New York right now. The blizzards is out of control. And I missed snow because I didn't have it growing up. It hadn't snowed in the last couple of years, so I'm like, God, give me some snow.
Gave you too much snow.
Careful what you pray for. You know. So it's good to be in the sunshine.
Well, it's good because you missed the rain. The rain was just here, and it was awful. LA can't deal with rain. We don't even know how to act when rain starts to rain.
So one thing I don't miss.
Got you. So, man, you're an actor.
Yeah.
And loving it. Mm-hmm. How'd you get into acting?
Well, let's see. It's funny because I wanted to be a doctor. And I even had a medical symbol on my high school ring, back in high school. Mm-hmm. I was that sure. I used to be smart. I was top 5% of my class, president of the Spanish Club, National Honor Society, all that stuff. And I got to college, and my first year there, I realized I didn't think I wanted to be in school for the next 12 years. So I took a theater course. Now, prior to that, I'd always been kind of performing or making music or imitating Michael Jackson at home for my mom. She made me perform for people. So I always had artistic talent. And she tried to push me to take art, band. And I was like, I don't want to do that stuff. I want to take theater, So I got to college, fell in love with it, moved out to Los Angeles. My mom actually incidentally moved here a year before I did and studied theater. I went to UCLA.
Big time.
Studied for a few years, graduated from there, and went on my first audition actually while I was still at school and booked my first audition. It was for this co-star on ABC. It was a cop show.
Wow.
And I played this DJ. And I always say, if I knew the things that I know now, I probably wouldn't have booked that part because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I walked in with props. That's actors. Don't take nothing with you to the audition. I had headphones, and I'm doing this thing, and she calls me back, the casting director, and I go in for the producers, and they are just laughing. They're laughing hysterically. It's a drama, mind you. But they just loved me so much that they said, let's give this kid a shot. So that was my first thing. I went on my second audition, which was a commercial, and I booked it. So I felt like this was what I was meant to do. Yeah.
I don't think, we've had a lot of people in here, and none of them have said their first two auditions, they booked them.
Now, don't get me wrong, there's been some dry spells. My dry spells came a little later, up and down. There's always up and down in this career. But, yeah, it was a blessing and some confirmation right out the gate. Yeah.
Got you. So you were born in Houston, but
grew up in San Antonio.
And you're supposed to be a big San Antonio basketball fan.
Oh, absolutely.
Did you play sports?
I tried to play basketball. I had hoop dreams. I was a big subscriber to Slam magazine, had the posters on.
Okay.
I loved basketball, but I got a funny story about that. So I got 2 funny stories. Shout out to Coach Rout, who was at James Madison High School. I was playing freshman basketball, and I think he said that I always worked hard, but I didn't have the skill, to back it up. So one time after practice, he stopped us and he talked to us, and he went down the line telling everybody, look, you got to D up a little bit better than that. Make sure you get this rebounder. And he got to me and he said, Jocko, now you make straight A's. And I go, oh, he said, that's right. I saw your report card. He said, now will you play like you got some sense? That was his note to me. My last game I played in high school was JV, and the new coach, he didn't know how not great I was freshman, so he put me in the game, and I did poorly. I had a lot of turnovers in that short time, and my mom pulled me aside after that game. She said, "That's your last game. I'm not gonna keep driving out here after work to watch you do that. It's not your calling, son." Yeah, so.
Wow, that's rare that your mother stepped in and was like,
"Man, they know, they know, and the good parents are gonna, they gonna tell you like it is, right?"
Yeah. No, I love that about your mom. It's like,
this ain't it.
This
son.
ain't it.
Nah, it's something, but this not this.
So, did you always know acting was it?
No. Like I said, I was into science and medical stuff.
Straight A's.
Straight A student, just doing well and just, doing well scholastically was just, I don't know, it just was important. Especially in Texas, it was very competitive. You got to get your, a good SAT score and get in all these organizations so you can get into a good school. And I had a great high school, but, when you call to do something, it'll get you eventually.
Yeah, it'll definitely find you.
So when did you pivot?
Yeah, like I got to college.
When you
got to college,
so
I just took a theater course just to see.
Okay.
And I was like, this is nice. I liked it. I fell in love with it. Went to a couple of schools, University of Houston. I even stopped at Santa Monica College here for a couple of years. Amazing theater program.
Oh, Santa Monica College.
And amazing shows. Like, at least back in the day. I'm sure they're still great, but that's an incredible theater school, by the way. And then finished up at UCLA, that was an incredible experience as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you have your time of life in college?
I did. I tried to take it in. I had a great group of friends. We still in touch. One of my friends is Max Amini, comedian, who is huge right now. He was just on this list in Deadline, top 25 comics who did the best last year in 2025. He was number 1 on the list.
Oh, wow.
He was my roommate for 7 years here in LA after college. Mm-hmm. We lived in this house next door to the Bishop Don Magic Wand.
That is funny.
So for those 7 years, it was a lot of fun.
Did you go visit?
Oh, and one more thing I want to say. So Max just did Madison Square Garden, sold out. So I was there in the beginning. I'm helping him with his auditions. He's helping me, and I'm starting my career. I'm getting Crash, and he was starting his comedy. And he was always a hustler. Mm-hmm. And he would have employees sometimes. He'd have them in the garage working. I'd be like, where you get the money to? How you hiring people, man? So shout out Max Amini, and just sold out Madison Square Garden in New York.
That was
off the chain. All the college boys came out, and it was a good time.
That's amazing. Yeah.
It's incredible, all these stories from you hear from actors, writers, that they end up being roommates, and then later on they make it.
Yeah, something else.
Yeah. So how did you end up in the set of Jarhead?
Jarhead. So shout out to Deborah Zane. She's put me in a few movies. She's a casting director who's fantastic. And I auditioned for it. Sam Mendes. I got the love-hate relationship with that person. He's something else on set. Let me just say that. That said, I'm very thankful that he gave me the job because he saw everybody in their 20s, every male in their 20s in Hollywood, even people who weren't SAG. And I commend him for that, for trying to make sure he got the right, people. So I and a few other actors filled out the squad. And we were right there with Jake Gyllenhaal and Jamie Foxx. First time I met Jamie and got to work with him. I learned from him a lot during that time. He won his Oscar while we were shooting the movie. Yeah. He won his Oscar for Ray while we were shooting the movie. So that was incredible.
So we had Kareem here.
Oh, I love Kareem. Oh, Kareem. Did you talk about Jarhead?
Yeah. He talked about it.
Yeah.
You had to train for it.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, he said the training, it was tough.
Not for him. You know, have you seen Kareem work out?
No, I haven't seen Kareem work out.
So Kareem gets it in. And I don't know if it began there in Jarhead, but if you go to his page now, he just loves working out. So he was great. Me, at the time, I had never worked out. Like, not on my own free will. Okay. Maybe when I played basketball a little bit, we got to hit the weights a little bit. But so that was it wasn't the funnest thing, you know, but, you know, it was cool. It was cool. We had to do a boot camp, too.
Right.
We had a few days. We had to go out there and pitch tents and be in the cold, and it was pretty brutal, the training leading up to it.
Right.
But fun, especially in your 20s.
How did Jamie do during that?
Jamie was just so fun, so funny. I had never been around somebody who, like, a real actual comic genius until that moment. And just the stuff that he would come up with in the jokes, like right there on the spot, I was like, this is a different level. And his, you know, each take that he would do and just improvise and try a little bit of something else, he just stepped right into that role. And I thought it was incredible. I'm thinking back, man, I think he was about 35 at the time. So it was incredible. And then I ended up doing Dreamgirls shortly after that. Jamie Foxx was in that too as well. So he's just been a great dude. Always been a great dude to me.
The one thing that Kareem said is that literally he'd be making jokes and they'd be like action and he would immediately go into character.
100%.
He said it was the most amazing thing he ever saw.
100%. Jamie Foxx has to be one of the most talented people on this planet.
Right.
If you think about it. The stand-up comedy, the impressions, the ability to captivate a room, his interviews, his music, his acting ability.
Right.
I mean, it's wild. So for us to be in our 20s and have him there, you know, being a leader to us, literally on screen and off the screen, was awesome.
Yeah, everybody that's pretty much have come here and said the exact same thing.
Really?
Everybody, because we have Bentley Evans here, you know, who filmed a lot of, you know, he did the TV show with him and things like that. Everybody says the exact same thing.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
It's unreal. And still somehow underrated, I feel. I feel like he should be doing a lot more. But he's doing everything he can and everything he wants to do.
Right.
You know?
I think that's what it is. He's doing everything he wants to do.
Exactly.
So I think as far as more, he could do more if he wanted to do more. I think he's probably really selective on what he decides to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah, I would be too.
I was a set of Dreamgirls with Beyonce, Eddie Murphy.
That was incredible. You know what I loved about that director, Bill Condon? I had this role where I played the DJ. Elvis Kelly was my character's name. And it was a big payola scene where Beyonce's label comes in and steals Effie's song, and they pay me under the table to play the song. And it was a bigger role that ended up getting cut down later on. But I remember Bill Condon, the director, who was Academy Award-winning director at that time, let me set up my scene. I come in as a day player, and he's like, okay, you're going to be sitting here while Effie, Jennifer Hudson is singing, and, you're going to have girls with you? Who do you want? I'm like, you're asking me all this stuff, So I'll never forget that. I love when directors treat you with respect, no matter where your number is on the call sheet.
Got you.
So that was great. I met Beyonce. I had lunch with Jennifer Hudson. I hung out with Jamie. Jamie's just fun. There's a lot of different stories that pop in my head that it's funny.
I can't remember, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Eddie Murphy get a nomination for that role he played? He did, right?
Yes, he did.
He wasn't. What I heard is he wasn't very happy once he didn't win in the Academy. But I don't know. I don't know if it's hearsay because this story that keeps popping up that Clint Eastwood kind of told him is like, hey man, kind of consoled him when he lost the Academy, but
I find that hard to believe.
It's all hearsay. You see stories pop up, but you don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah.
Right.
Eddie knows. I don't know him well. I met him once, but You know, he's a legend. He's been around, done it all. He's got his Mark Twain Prize.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's got his nomination. He don't need nothing else. But you know, if it's true, that's just probably a testament to his dedication as an artist. You know.
Right. How was lunch with Beyonce?
No, lunch with Jennifer Hudson.
Oh, no.
J-Hud.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't, okay.
Yeah. No, I didn't have lunch with Beyonce. I've met Beyonce several times. She is, maybe you've heard people say this too. She is just the nicest person.
Yeah, sweet as pie.
Meet in this business. And she's talking to you and you're like, I can't believe she hot. And it's,
wait a minute, she from Texas, right?
She's from Houston. She was born in the same city.
There you go.
But you know, I've met Kelly Rowland several times. Everybody from Houston. If you meet a celebrity from Houston and from Texas, you kind of get the same thing.
Kelly Rowland, I've met her. She is a sweetheart.
Something else.
Yeah, she is an absolute sweetheart. I've met her a couple of times. Mm-hmm. Really, really nice and really, really pretty.
Yo, yeah.
Wow.
I had a unhealthy Kelly Rowland crush for a long time. It was borderline stalking. But I got over it, you know, prayed about it, got a little therapy, and I'm good now.
Got you.
But then you landed your first serious lead in Crash.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, so first of all, I saw the movie Crash. AD, we were just talking about that.
That movie, I'm telling you, when I was in the theater, you had to be careful what you see, because it was literally like a race war could start in the theater I was in, because it was black, white, Hispanic. Everybody was in there, and everybody stayed quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember people getting emotional when I saw it, and myself included.
Yeah.
It was just such a great movie, and it touched me so. And I didn't imagine that 2 years later, when they did the series, that I would be a part of it. So I got a lot of Crash stories. Some of them I can't tell. They involve people. I'm trying to, think about which ones. But as far as me getting the role, I remember auditioning for it. And this is one particular show I remember auditioning, and I was getting further and further in the process, and I didn't read the script. So I was like, I'm not going to read the script. I'm going to just keep doing what I'm doing. I'm not going to ask no questions. Let me just keep going. And I remember at this audition, there was a network test and a studio test. And I can't remember which one's first. I think maybe network or studio. I don't know. So I go in and I do it. And I do well in that. I felt like I did a good job. And then I go out and I'm waiting around a little bit. And they said the next callback for the final one will be, in a few hours. And I remember talking to Brian T., who ended up on the show. He said that he had gotten a call that he's coming back. And he said, you get a call? I said, no. He said, oh, okay. He said, I'm sure you will. I said, okay, it was just weird. So I go home. I drive all the way home. This was in Santa Monica, and I lived like Pico, Fairfax area. Drive home, and I'm sitting there, and nothing's happening. And I call my agents, and they're like, oh, they haven't heard anything,
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, have you heard no? And they said no. And I said, well, I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna just go.
Oh, you just went back up?
I hadn't gotten
back
the
to
official
Santa Monica.
callback. Went back to Santa Monica, got in my car, and got there. And actually, while I was on the way, I got a call from my agent. The agent, who was no longer at the agency, they called her cell phone while she was at lunch and left a voicemail, and she didn't check it for a while. So I was having an anxiety attack thinking that I'm not even in the running anymore. And by faith and my gut told me to get out there. I got there in time, and I have to, put on that face and not explain to everybody in the room what the hell I just went through, and go in and perform. And by the grace of God, got the role.
Wait a minute. Okay, so your agent didn't check her voicemail.
My agent at the time, one of my agents, the agent who was assigned to that show.
Agent at the time didn't check their voicemail, and just by chance, you felt like you needed to be back on that set?
I needed to go back to the audition. Yeah, the studio test.
And if you wouldn't have went back, you were...
I just would have missed. I wouldn't have got this role.
At what point in the audition process
they just thought I didn't show up?
Did you realize, okay, I'm on the list?
At what point in
when you drove back,
I got the call in the car while I was there, while I was headed there, saying, and my manager called me. She said, "Oh, she was at lunch, this agent, and they called her phone, and she just now checked her voicemail. It was long after her lunch, and They were calling. I was like, good, I'm on my way. Thank you. I was already on my way.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I get to Albuquerque, New Mexico, I played this driver for a limo driver for this big music executive character, right? And he was supposed to be like Phil Spector, big in music, but, every now and then somebody comes up dead, missing, at his house. And so just like kind of this fun little dynamic. And when they hadn't cast that role yet, even after I booked it, and I'm in Albuquerque, New Mexico, waiting for this big role to be cast. And they told me it was down to Harvey Keitel, Tom Sizemore, Val Kilmer, and Dennis Hopper. And they said, one of these 4 will be your acting partner. And I said, wow, I'll take any one of them.
Right.
But I was particularly excited about Hopper. And sure enough, he got it. And man, what a guy. Dennis was incredible. Was one of the last actors to be able to work with him. And he was so lovely to work with. And I remember after we finished filming the first season, I called him because I was going to have a gathering to watch one of my favorite episodes from that season. So I had my mom come over. She barbecued at the crib, invited all my friends over, and I didn't tell nobody that I had invited Dennis. And I called Dennis Hopper, and I said, hey, Dennis. He goes, hello? I said, hey, Dennis, it's Jocko. He goes, oh, hey, man, how's it going? I said, hey, so I'm having a gathering for this episode. I'm like, yeah, I'm there, man. I'm there. I didn't even get the sentence out.
Wow.
Pulls up, 74 years old, had a Pontiac G6 with rims on it, parks in my driveway, and walks in, and my friends are stunned. And he sits there, he hangs out with us, a lot of black people over there, we eating barbecue and taking pictures and hanging out at my crib. And I found out later that he had cancer, and I didn't know that for the 2 seasons I was working with him. And that he had seen the episode already before. So he just wanted to come hang out.
That's cool.
That meant a lot to me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Man. So I know you also, when we spoke prior to that, you said he was so happy about a billboard.
Oh,
maybe you could share a little bit of that.
Absolutely. So when we were still filming season 1, the show was in promotion phase, right? So they put a big billboard on Sunset of Dennis in the back of a limo, Dennis Hopper, and he's just like smoking his cigar. And somebody sent him a picture of it because we're filming in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Somebody sent him a picture, and I saw him there on the couch on the set, just like staring at it, smiling for minutes. And I go, this is what I'm thinking. I'm like, you've done over 150 films.
Right.
You've been nominated for an Oscar. You know what I mean? You've lived, in this business. And here he is staring at this billboard. I'm sure he's had billboards before. And I said, you really like that billboard, huh? He goes, let me tell you something. So for those of you who don't know, Dennis Hopper directed the movie Colors.
Got you.
And he wanted Sean Penn to be in the movie. And he told me that he went to Sean Penn. He said, hey, I'd love for you to do this movie. And Sean, did the meeting and everything. He said, I'll do it under one condition. You get me a billboard on Sunset. And Dennis Hopper goes, and Sean said, I'm not kidding. It's a deal breaker. So Dennis got him a billboard on Sunset. And that's how Sean Penn ended up in Colors. Dennis told me this firsthand. And for me, it just demonstrated how important it is sometimes, these little things, for actors to be validated, no matter where you are in your career. When you see something like a billboard or your name in lights, it's a big deal.
Right.
And I was blessed to be able to have on that show, on that season, I had a billboard on the side of a building in New York. I didn't get to see that in person, but my friends lived in the building next door, and they looked out their window, and my face was looking at them, and they said, yo, and I was like, man, it's like, it'd be moments like that make you feel like you did something.
Right.
So, yeah.
Nah, that's cool.
Have you seen Apocalypse Now?
I did a long time ago. Yeah.
Because the way you were talking about Dennis is like, hey, he sounds similar to his photographer character.
First of all, he is a photographer in real life.
Yeah.
Well, he was. And he is a lot like his character. He brought a lot of himself to all the roles. Yeah, for sure. And he's a cool guy. His stories, I mean, God, Seymour Cassell. He brought legends to come act with us on the show Crash. Seymour Cassell and Dean Stockwell. Remember him from Quantum Leap?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just sitting there oftentimes in the scene with me, Hopper, and another legend. And it was a lot, to take in your 20s.
Right.
But it's just, an experience I'd never forget.
As an actor, do you sometimes, and this is probably just more for me than anything else, when you guys play so many different roles, do you get lost in some of those characters in real life? I know it might sound ridiculous, but I'm like you might be cool over here, shy over here, got all the girls in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't, it's so much. Is it overwhelming for the brain?
I haven't had an experience where I'm doing a role and it becomes overwhelming or I get lost in the role. I know that actors have spoken about that in the past. I'm good at turning that switch off. I don't want to leave it on.
Right.
And I just like to get my lines and get them down and just get in there and just do it. I got to work with Anthony Hopkins at school. He came and took over our school at UCLA once. And the teachers just let him do it. He just kept us for a couple of days. And his approach was so interesting. Like, he didn't come with any technical stuff. He would just have us come in cold and do a scene. And then he'd be like, no, do it like this. And he'd get up and just kind of show us just how to do it. It was just it's blasphemous for an actor. You just call it line reading. You don't want to give an actor a line reading. You always have to find some creative way to get them to come up with it on their own. But here he is just giving us line readings. I'll say it like this. And it was very educational for me. It was just like, just do it. Because sometimes in these schools, you get all this stuff put on you. And that's what's overwhelming for me, is like when you're just getting an over-education on the thing. But there's this thing that happens for those of us who are fortunate enough to experience, where you just shed the shell, the difference between you and the character, and you kind of just there in the moment, and you're not thinking. That's lovely. That's a great space to be in.
What's your technique to memorize lines?
So I've been very good at it. I've had some moments where, I struggle with remembering, but for the most part, I'll do the day of. For some reason, if it's like several days out, and let's say there's no monologue involved, let's say it's a scene with two people, so walk and talk, and it's 2 pages. I can't really study that like days out. I don't know why. I won't be able to retain it. I need to be on my feet and be doing something. If I have something tangible and I can that helps me to remember quickly somehow. And also listening to the other person for real. Because if you're listening and understanding what's happening in the scene, you don't always got to remember your lines. Because what the person says will inform you. It'll cue you, I'd come up with an exercise we can do here as an example, but I've always and I coached actors for a long time, for like 20 years. I'd had my friends from UCLA come over and we'd work scenes out. But we'd be so concerned about the lines and trying to get the lines right. Sometimes I say, put the sides down, put the script down. And they're like, and then just do it. I don't know it. It's fine, it'll come to you. And it always comes. It's there. So I've had some weird muscle up here where I've been able to just know it's there. And I'm probably not even answering your question, but I feel
you did.
I feel like, yeah. I don't know what that technique is. I'm still working on trying to figure it out.
I've heard from Michael Caine that most actors' problems is that they don't listen. That's
kind of what I'm saying as far as the listening part. They're waiting. I can't stand when I'm working with somebody who's just waiting for your line to be finished, just waiting to say their line. It's like, and you can tell because they didn't. You might say it differently than you did before, and they say it the same way. And it's like you're not breathing and living in the scene. You're not. It's tough. It's hard though. It's hard.
So can you tell when you're dealing with a new actor?
New is not even the thing. Sometimes the old one who's stuck in their ways can be a problem.
Okay.
So new may not be a problem. But yeah, there's a lot of things sometimes when you're dealing with a new actor, you have like the on-set etiquette type things you do and don't do that. I think there needs to be a book for new actors who get their first job and go on set. I've always thought about writing that just to help them navigate that. I remember showing up to sets my first days. I don't know what's what, who's who, all these people, different people talking to you. So, that's when you can really spot a new actor. But the selfish actors, the ones who are just stuck on and married to their own vision, that's even worse. I'm all about what is the intention of this whole show and this season, and what is the point of this scene?
Got you.
What is the point? There's a reason when you're watching this show. There's a reason they have us saying this. So you can't come in there like I'm going to say this like this, and I'm going to perform this way, and I'm going to see it. That's not what it's about. It's like, first, what is this about? How do we convey this message? What do we want the audience to get out of this relationship or this dynamic right now? And that's where the focus should be.
Got you.
Yeah.
So what's the number one thing for an actor to know when he's entering a new set, he's a new actor? What's the biggest tip that you could give them?
If you're new, definitely come prepared.
Prepared, okay.
You can be over prepared. So, like I said, I don't do this at home. What I do once I'm comfortable on a show, and this is not for all roles, but I've gotten accustomed to learning and retaining my lines when I show up. Because again, we get to get on our feet for a little bit. You don't have a whole lot of time in television, for example, but get on your feet and that's when I can maintain it.
So you do it the day of?
I do most of the time it's day of. Now,
okay, first I thought you said you do it the day prior, but no, it's the day.
Yeah, maybe I did say day prior, but I'll do the day of once I show up.
Oh, wow.
Now I'll look at. Full transparency. I'll look at it. I got to see what's going on because if it's like a lot, then no, I'm not going to do that. I just did High Potential. Todd Harthan is the showrunner for that show.
My girl loves that show.
Oh, man, listen. That show is killing it. I think it's like the #1 drama on network TV right now. And I did season 1, a couple episodes, season 1. They couldn't make the schedule work for season 2, but I might be back if they do a season 3, and I'm available. But that show was great, and I played this FBI agent. And Todd, I had worked with on Crash. He came season 2 of Crash, and he put me in a couple of episodes of The Resident. He ran that show. And so he created this character for me, this FBI agent, and I get it. And it is probably the most dialogue. I've been acting on the television at least for 23 years. It's probably the most dialogue I've had ever, in one episode.
Got you.
And it was very technical. It was a lot. It was very challenging, and I found it amusing, but I was stressed. I was out here. My mom lives here, so she was like, how can I help you? I'm like, Mom, just let me, not right now. Let me just get past these 2 weeks. And yeah, man, that was a challenge. I loved it, and I love how it came out. It came out great. It was a great audience response to the character, too, so we'll probably get back there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Later on, you did Masters of Sex.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one. Yeah. I love that experience. Masters of Sex was great because you had these. First of all, it was on Showtime, and I'd always wanted to do a cable show. I had done Crash. That was my first one, but I wanted to be on like a Showtime or HBO and critically acclaimed show. At the time, I was on The Last Ship, which we can talk about later.
Right.
And I was a series regular on The Last Ship at this time that Masters of Sex come along. Now, the schedules didn't interfere, but they have rules in television where you are not allowed to do more than maybe depends on the contract, 3 episodes of another show as a guest star, because they don't want their audiences getting confused and thinking you're on. I think that's changing a little bit now, because now they do 8 episodes on. It's like, how can you survive off 8 episodes?
Right.
I need to be over here doing this too, you know. So at the time, you know, the network that I was on, being a series regular for last year, was like, you can only do 3, because they wanted me for 7 episodes of Masters of Sex, and they said 3, and I was like,
that's crazy.
I told my team, I said, then get me out of my contract. And mind you, it's a lot of money over here on The Last Ship compared to this as a guest star, 7 episodes. We're talking about years of a series regular. It's a massive difference. And I was willing to forgo that for an opportunity to do some great work. And when we said that, the network said, okay, you can do them all. You can do all 7. So I got in there and did 7.
Did you know you were going to win that one?
No, and I was just willing to, you know, take that risk. Yeah, because I really wanted to do that show.
Gotcha.
And, you know, I got a funny story about getting cast in that show, because I went in for that casting director 10 years prior for another show, and it was a pilot. My agents had been always good at getting me out for, you know, big roles in at least television and in movies. But I was auditioning for pilots before I was ready to be the star of a show on ABC. And I remember going in for this casting director. Her name was Jamie Radofsky. And I did this pilot audition, and it was this long monologue and stuff. And I do it, and I'm just like, I'm killing it. And when I finished, she goes, wow, that was amazing. You're not getting a callback, but wow, you did it better than everybody else. And I said, thank you. Awesome. Cool. And I left. I'll tell you something weird about me.
Yeah.
I was completely cool with that. And I know what she meant when she said that. I was not, well, first of all, the reality was what I was auditioning for wasn't a black show. It's a mainstream network show. They were probably just doing a favor in seeing me, and I was kind of new. And that wasn't going to go to no black person, first of all. She wasn't going to sit there and tell me that. And it's not that she had nothing to do with that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But there's that. And me being new. You know what I mean? Too new, too unknown of a face. But she said, she let me know that I did it better than everybody. And it was great. And those moments when a teacher in school or a casting director or a producer would give me feedback like that. I'm big on feedback. I don't have to get the role, but at least call my team and tell them that I'm incredible or that I did a great job, so that I don't have to feel like they feel like I'm not doing a good job out there when I've done a good job. And I walk into this Masters of Sex audition, this role I really, really want, and I see Jamie Radofsky, the casting director. I hadn't seen her until I go, Jamie, because there was another casting director who was also working on that show, and I thought I was going to see that person. I was like, she goes, how are you? I said, man, killed this audition for Masters of Sex, and she got to cast me in it 10 years later, and it was just such a rewarding experience. It was fantastic.
Did she remember you from 10 years ago?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, in fact, there had been times where she had talked to my manager for other things, potentially, that I could go in, and so I was always on her radar.
Got you.
Over the years. Yeah.
No, that's cool. I heard that if you're an actor, you have to develop the relationship with these casting directors. Is that true? Is that really, really crucial as an actor?
I don't think it's so much a relationship, but I think it's important to make an impression.
Got you. Okay, that's what I meant by that.
Yeah. I think if you are making an impression on them and they're calling you in again and again and again, you don't even have to book. It's weird. Like, don't worry about booking it, because it'll come. If they're gonna keep calling you in and they keep putting you on that tape, they pick a select few. If they're calling you repeatedly, they know you're guaranteed. Their job is to, first of all, find somebody for the role, right? So they're hoping when you go in that you're the person. And they get paid when they cast the role. So they're just hoping. And if you're getting called in repeatedly because they have to make a tape to show the producers, they want to look good. You know, you you're one of those people that they know that it's going to look good on tape. Now, I ain't going to say that. I ain't gonna say that. No, I ain't gonna say that.
You want to go for coffee?
Yeah, no. They can exploit that sometimes. That's all I was gonna say. They can exploit that sometimes, depending on the person.
Got you.
Make sure your tape look good, but they got to offer out to somebody else.
Well, let's talk a little bit about The Last Ship.
Yeah,
and is that a Michael Bay production?
Absolutely.
You get to meet with Michael Bay? Like,
yes.
How involved was he in that?
I'll tell you how involved he was in it. I wasn't in the pilot of that, but I heard he came to the pilot. Now, typically, executive producers on shows, like Paul Haggis was executive producer. Don Cheadle was executive producer of Crash. Never met him.
Oh, wow.
And especially because we're in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's not glamorous. A lot of people don't want to come out there. So it was awesome to see Michael Bay, especially somebody of that caliber, with the massive, resume he has, come to set. What I did meet him eventually also, but in the pilot, he came to set and he grabbed a camera and he was just like filming like this. And he's like, "Here, you give me that." He said, "He's just doing this." And people are like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, don't worry, it's going to be helicopters there." And he's doing this. And when you watch that, you can watch the trailer right now from season 1 and see those helicopters they added in there. It's real. I don't know what they're doing now with AI and stuff where it looks crappy, and they use his shots. And so he was literally very hands-on with that. And he was great. And another great Michael Bay story. So with The Last Ship, we had to have the support of the United States Navy. I became friends with this. Got to have the full support. The Pentagon was very aware of everything we did. Our poster is up at the Pentagon still.
Okay.
I became very good friends with the former Secretary of the Navy. His name is Ray Mabus. He's the longest serving Secretary of Navy in U.S. history at that time for all 8 years of Obama's term. Obama picked him up. And I got to go visit him at the Pentagon. They loved it. So I heard a story that Michael Bay actually went to the Pentagon as well. And he did his tour, and they have very strict rules there. Obviously, you can't take video and take camera. You don't want it to, know what it looks like there. So he goes to Pentagon, and then he goes and does a movie. I don't know if it's Transformers or something where they had the Pentagon. And people from the Pentagon watched this movie, and they said, Did he take pictures and like, how did he? That's exactly the thing. And they said, no, he just memorized it. So they banned him from the Pentagon.
Wow.
Because his brain is a camera.
Wow.
Can't go back.
He can't go back.
No, it's a security threat.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, man, in my opinion, I like Michael Bay movies. I don't understand the hate that he gets.
Well, he took some of our childhood at the same time. I'm going to say this. I'll tell you, Michael, and shout out to Brad Fuller, his producing partner at Platinum Dunes, and Cameron Fuller, Brad's son. Incredible human beings, great people, and they make amazing films. Quiet Place was one of the most recent ones, the whole Quiet Place franchise. I do have some gripes with Michael. My childhood was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did his own personal thing with all three of those films. You don't remember?
No, I know Teenage Mutant Turtles, but
Yeah.
I don't remember the other two that he was involved in.
How old are you?
31.
Yeah.
Oh, so back in the day?
Yeah, so you just see the first Turtles movies?
Yeah, with Megan Fox and all that. No, not that one.
See, kids? This is what I'm talking about. This is what Michael Bay has done. He thinks Ninja Turtle movies are the ones with Megan Fox.
Hey, time out. I do remember the ones with the costumes.
Yeah.
I did not know he was involved in those ones.
He was not involved in those.
Yeah.
In the originals.
The originals are, I know.
Okay.
I know that he was involved. That
My point is his remakes.
Yeah, the remakes.
And it's nothing against him. A lot of remakes, except for the one I have coming out, it's going to be great. We'll talk about that, are subpar or not even subpar. It's just that they have so much of a nostalgic feel to us. So I think that some of the backlash he's gotten is like, what have you done with this? You know what I mean? Like Nightmare on Elm Street. Did you Nightmare on Elm Street?
I don't watch scary movies.
I know.
You missed it.
Okay.
I missed it.
I know the original ones. I just didn't know he did a remake.
So the ones with Megan Fox are Michael Bay's remakes.
Yeah, I know the turtle ones.
Yeah,
I know that, and I grew up watching the turtle one. By the way.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
okay, good.
with the pizza.
You had older siblings?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why, because you're a little young to have caught that. So I'm sure they showed you
with the rat and all that stuff. But it's real costumes.
Master Splinter. Put some respect on his name. Put some respect on the rat. That's a whole different thing, bro.
Hey, but Bad Boys.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Listen.
Amazing.
And my favorite Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson performance is Pain and Gain. But
Great.
you know, I understand the gripes with him.
Yeah.
But going back to The Last Ship, and recently, actor that passed away, Eric Dane.
Yeah.
You know, so how was your relationship with him?
Incredible. I was a guest star for the first season of Last Ship. And Eric took a liking to me that was really special. He invited me to his house that year for a Christmas party in the next 2 years, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
Didn't invite anybody else from set. None of the bigger actors and series regulars, nothing, just me. I'm meeting his wife and his family, his kids. And then he had this award show that he had to present an award as the People Magazine Awards, and Nick Cannon was hosting, and Jennifer Aniston was there, and all these, and I was his plus one. And this is while I'm a guest star.
Wow.
I know him for a couple of months, and I remember I call him my friend, like, yo, I don't know what's up. Dude loves me, man. This is awesome. He's like, yeah, it was great. And we became really good friends, man. And he opened up to me, shared a lot of stories. We had a good time, and I'm trying to think of a couple of great stories about Eric because his passing was very hard on a lot of us, especially his family. But he shouted me out on Family Guy, one of my favorite shows of all time. I remember I was here in town, and it was in April, and I was getting text messages and tweets, and somebody was like, your name was just mentioned on Family Guy. I was like, the cartoon? Like, yeah. I was like, people tripping. And it was like, you know, what are you talking about? And then finally, when I got to see the episode, Eric Dane appeared on Family Guy playing himself. And it was this episode where Peter and his friends were trying to pretend, you know, stolen valor. They were trying to pretend to be, you know, military guys and fly in the first class or whatever. And I think Peter said that he was from the USS Nathan James, and Eric Dane happened to be on the plane, and he said, "Hey, that's the ship from The Last Ship." You know what I mean? And he said, "That's the ship from The Last Ship, starring Adam Baldwin and Jocko Sims."
Wow.
And he could have said, that was a big cast. I think it was like 15 cast members. I fall somewhere in the middle of the call sheet. Mm-hmm. He skipped everybody else and then threw me shout out, man. And I remember texting him and I said, "Thank you so much for that shout out. That's like my favorite show." And he replied with 3 words. He said, "Black Lives Matter." Just cracked me up, man. Cracked me up. But he was really, really good to me. I got a lot of stories, man. He was just an amazing person, very kind to people, an extraordinary talent. He always gave 110% in every scene. And he's another one I learned from because it was just effortless. Him as that role as Tom Chandler, Commander Tom Chandler, is just, it's one of those shows that still holds up today. Like I go back and watch an episode of the last show, like, they did a great job on the show. And I think at the time that we were filming, it was the most expensive show on television. I don't know, it was $5 million or whatever per episode. Whatever it was ridiculous. And they nailed it. But it's thanks to him. He was great.
That's awesome.
Did you know during his last days his condition and how he was doing?
I spoke to him briefly first 2 years ago, I think he might have had ALS, but didn't come out with it. And he was talking about his new show that he had on Prime, and how fulfilling it was for him and how much he enjoyed it. And then shortly after that, I saw the announcement. I was like, damn, that he had ALS. And just such a short time before he was gone. But the last time I sent him a message and I said, you're in my thoughts every single day. And he hearted it. And that was my last moment with him. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And he also gave me a little fun story. He gave me, when I got my first doctor show as a series regular, it was New Amsterdam. And, of course, Eric Dane's known as McSteamy. He was on Grey's Anatomy. He came in that show as a guest star himself and shut it down. They kept him, and he was on the show for 7 years. But he said, Jocko, I'll give you some advice. You're playing a doctor on your first doctor show. He said, the most important thing I can tell you is that you are not a real doctor. I was like, what circumstances was he in for him to realize that was important? But just a great sense of humor, always fun. And yeah, I'm going to miss him.
Oh, yeah, because we were going to New Amsterdam, and actually, I actually wanted to ask you some medical advice, but since you cleared that up.
Yeah.
But, so you landed the role for New Amsterdam?
Yeah. As I mentioned, when I was in high school, I wanted to be a doctor. Once I decided to become an actor, I always wanted to play a doctor, so I can still get that feeling. And incidentally, I got to play on a couple of episodes as a doctor right before New Amsterdam on The Resident. And the last ship ends after 5 seasons, and I have my first pilot season. And I think I'm gonna miss pilot season. It's so different now. The industry's changed. There's far fewer. There's a lot fewer shows, and it's kind of like year round. But that year was fantastic. Went out for a lot of things. Was up for a lot of things, and one of them was New Amsterdam. I had worked on almost every network up until that point. I had never worked on NBC. Always wanted to work on NBC. NBC was big. For me, it represented Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and, Friends and just Saturday Night Live and Tonight Show. And so I'm sure I'm forgetting some great dramas over the years, but wanted to. And so the first role that I'd land is a series regular as a doctor, playing Dr. Reynolds. And New Amsterdam, for those of you who don't know, was on NBC for 5 seasons. It's now on Peacock. And it was based on a true story. It's about the first public hospital in America, which is Bellevue in New York. And there was this doctor named Dr. Eric Mannheimer, who was the medical director of the hospital. And he wrote a book called 12 Patients, Life and Death at Bellevue Hospital. And it's basically about how difficult it was for him to get real care to patients, because of all this, bureaucracy and all this red tape. So the book was a great book, and our creator of the show, David Schulner, read the book, and they optioned it and turned it into a television series. And shout out the cast of New Amsterdam, who were just fantastic. We had a great run.
Throughout the run, how much did you, before even starting New Amsterdam, how much you knew about medicine, since you kind of were kind of planning to be a doctor?
No, not a whole lot. I thought I might have known some things. I'm really good at figuring things out, medically. I don't professionally diagnose anybody, but there's been a couple of times, in my family where I'm thinking something's wrong, and I'll say, have you looked into this? And that has happened. So, but it wasn't until I get to set, and obviously I don't know anything, in reality, because we have real surgeons in every scene that I'm doing. I play the head of the cardiac surgical department, Dr. Reynolds, and in every scene, masked up next to me is Dr. Jeff, who is a real life surgeon, 27 years at the time at Bellevue Hospital. I learned everything from him. And he's there making sure I don't look like an idiot with those tools. And everybody in the OR and that's in those scenes were real nurses. There's rarely, they wanted to make sure on New Amsterdam that everybody who's doing something in the background in the medical scenes really looked like they knew what they were doing. And they didn't have time to kind of teach somebody how to do it. So it was real doctors and nurses we had. And the most fun was when we were filming in the hospital before COVID. We were filming at Bellevue Hospital and filming in Kings County Hospital in Brooklyn. And people walking down the hallway, and some of the doctors and people there weren't even aware that were filming there, because that's how big. Part of the thing about Bellevue Hospital, it's like a city. There's a courthouse inside the hospital. Wow. There's a school. There's a daycare. There's a jail. It's unbelievable. If you're ever in New York, go visit Bellevue and go into the main entrance and see the scope of this. And if you watch New Amsterdam on Peacock, you can see it. You get the feel of it. But it's so big you can get lost in there. But I got lost in my thoughts. Why was I saying it was something I was about to say.
You were talking about you working with real doctors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
they didn't have time to teach them the.
Yeah. And then, anyways, I was saying something about Bellevue, but we can move on.
Okay.
I'm glad to hear that, because my parents are doctors.
Yeah.
And they couldn't, and I don't know, I haven't lived with them in a few years, but growing up, I remember they hated watching doctor shows, because it's like, man, this shit is so unrealistic. This is not how it goes.
Right. Yeah. We got a lot of that, but we got a lot of positive stuff as well. And one of the things that touched me, being a person who was playing a black doctor and the head of cardiac surgery, I would get tweets from mothers who say, "Thank you so much for playing this role. My son now wants to be a doctor for black moms." And I'm like, man, we got that on the last ship too. Because of the last ship, my character, Lieutenant Burke, because we had, the real Navy on our set. They're making sure, So shout out to Lieutenant Dulac, who was on set and told me that there was an uptick in the amount of African Americans and people of color signing up to become officers in the Navy because of Lieutenant Burke. And it's things like that you don't think about when you get a role, but I learned from those two experiences. It's like sometimes we're doing more than just telling the story.
I love that.
We're inspiring people.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I love that.
So you directed a short film. What made you want to transition now to?
Yeah. Initially, I was going to direct an episode of New Amsterdam, and I hadn't directed anything officially yet, so they told me I should do a short film. And I was inspired by this story. My great friend, Chaz Hazlitt, is a barber, and I got him on New Amsterdam, and he's cutting my hair every morning, cracking me up. The guy, he grew up in New Jersey. He's Colombian. One of my best friends. He's hilarious. He would always tell me stories from his childhood in the morning before we started on set, right? One of the stories he told me was that he had been going to strip clubs since he was 14. I laughed at that because I hadn't heard of that. I'm like, how do you get in? Him and his boys. And he said that they would wear their Catholic school uniforms, go there, and he pretend he's a car salesman, had these fake cars, hand them to the dancers and stuff at 14. So I thought that was so funny. And I was like, what must that have been like? So I wrote a short film about these young boys who sneak into a strip club. And it actually came out very heartfelt, and it's great. So I won't bore you with the details of that. But we did so well. So I shifted my focus from wanting to direct an episode of New Amsterdam and just put it all into my short film. And I submitted it to festivals, and we won at the third largest festival in the States here, which is South by Southwest, won the jury prize.
Shit.
That's awesome.
And shout out 50 Cent and G Unit. They've since come on board with me to develop it into a television series. So we're still in the works, working on that.
That's dope.
That's crazy.
Yeah, thank you.
How's it been working with 50?
50's great. 50's got a lot of stuff going on. He got a lot of stuff going on.
In between rap battles, he's making TV shows. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's but he's great. You know, I met with him. We're at the same agency. My agent set it up, and we had a meeting. And he just, man, he sang the praises of the short. He loved it. And we had a good time. The meeting went on long. They had to stop him from talking, and so they can go on to the next thing. But he was that excited about it. That's what I loved about 50s. I met with a few people, but he was the guy because even though he mainly does dramas, but he's so prolific as a television producer. You know, I know people distracted with a lot of the stuff he does socially. Mm-hmm. I can't speak to that, but you know, he's a juggernaut. You know?
Gotcha.
So, but more than anything, just having his stamp that meant a lot to me.
All the TV shows he turns out end up gold.
Great.
Yeah, I love them all.
Real quick, before we move from your short film, at what age did you first go to a strip club? He's a strip club connoisseur.
Oh, great. Yeah, I want to hear about this.
It wasn't 14.
See what I'm saying?
Listen, if I could have got in there at 14, I was there.
Right.
But I definitely didn't get in at 14.
Exactly.
Probably like everybody else's age, 21.
Yeah. So then that was crazy to me. I'm
14
like,
is bananas.
They went regularly as a group.
Yeah,
I don't know what they're doing on the East Coast, but man, that's crazy.
Yeah, they need to bring some of that to LA.
No, they don't. Maybe in the time machine when we were young. It would have been great.
Let me go back and do it all over again.
It would have been a great experience.
And now you're developing a new project that Tom Hanks is going to produce?
Yeah, so I am an ambassador for the Elizabeth Dole Foundation and an organization a campaign they do called Hidden Heroes. And it is the organization that focuses on military caregivers. And these are the family members who take care of a wounded or ill veteran at home. I became an ambassador to it, so I've learned a lot about this world. Mm-hmm. Caregivers often don't have the support they need. They don't have the financial, support. They oftentimes give up on their dreams to take care of a wounded family member. They range from ages 7 on to 70 and up. And I've learned that there are 14.5 million military caregivers in the U.S. And 100 million caregivers, somebody. So this is something that affects all of us. You know, if we're not a caregiver now, you may be, sometime in your life, or you may need care. And so I had been hosting this gala because Tom Hanks is the chair of it. And we do this gala every year in Washington, D.C., and they raise a lot of money for the cause, and it's been fantastic. I found this story about a guy named Chris Traumer, and he retired from the NYPD after 20 years. He retired early to take care of his father at home. His father is a Vietnam vet. And they discovered later that his father was suffering from PTSD, he has dementia, and he had a stroke.
Wow.
So he left his career to take care of his father. Now, he grew up, he had a rough upbringing with his father. He describes his father as being very distant, not there, often abusive, verbally and physically to his family. And so he just didn't have a great relationship with his dad at all. It wasn't until he became his caregiver that he learned a couple of things about his dad. He's going through some old stuff, and he found this document that shows that his father actually extended his stay in Vietnam during the war to wait until Chris was born. Because Chris, was born there in Vietnam, well, over in the Philippines, I think, at the time. And that just touched Chris. After all these years, he's like, my father really does love me. So he's stepping up for him. The story is so compelling that I ended up writing a short film about it. And I got I pitched this idea to Tom Hanks, and he came on board as an executive producer, and I can't thank him enough for that and the support that he's given. And I can't thank the Elizabeth Dole Foundation for their support. We're raising funds for it now. So if you'd like to help out, you can reach out to you guys or me, find me on social media. I'm Jocko Sims. And also you can go to ElizabethDoleFoundation.org. You can find out more about this world of caregiving, and you can help support this film.
Yeah, the link will be below on the YouTube, Spotify, and Apple.
Yeah.
So do short films become big films?
They can.
Is that so? Why not just do a big film?
That's first of all, that's not easy.
Okay. I was just
I was
just trying to get
absolutely. I've thought about it, and I was like, just for this one, let me ease up in there.
Especially
I'm gonna need a lot
because you already had success.
We had success with this other one, and South by
that's
Southwest wasn't the only one.
Yeah, that's on your resume now.
So I'm like, now with this, I have an even better script, and something that I'm passionate about, and I'm trying to get other people to be passionate about.
Well, you did it.
We have
got Tom Hanks.
Yeah, it got Tom on board. You know, I say Sundance. I say, you know, in these Oscar qualifying festivals, we could be nominated for an Oscar for a short film. So I'm putting it out there. That's the goal. And you could nominate and win an Oscar for it.
Wow.
And that is, you know, there's not a lot of avenues for distribution as far as I know for short films, but at the same time, if we're going around the festivals and we're going to be doing private screenings, Tom and I, for veterans and wounded warriors and military families and others who want to learn more about the story and see that the story is so great. It's so great. It kind of it feels a bit Forrest Gump-y to me, which is great. One of my favorite movies, incidentally, and it's really great. I think we're going to do well. But the fact that we get to go around the country potentially once we have it done and talk about this issue, I think will be really great. And also shout out to AARP and Dr. Mentor Jordan, the CEO of AARP. They've been very supportive of this film. They've contributed to it as well. And we plan on doing some screenings with them. They have this thing called Movies for Grown-Ups. You guys can check that out too. It's fantastic. But there's a lot of organizations that I'm going to be talking to and hoping to get some more support. But big shout out to Elizabeth Dole Foundation and AARP.
So when you talk about a short film, how many minutes is a short film?
It could range. I mean, I don't know what the actual rule is, but it could be.
I think it's 40 minutes or less is considered a short film or something like that.
Boom. That'll work. I think so. Yeah, and it could be 30 seconds.
Okay.
It can go. Yeah, it can be short or up to maybe about 40 minutes, like you said.
Like a lot of the movies, because Whiplash is an example. They shot the short first. And then later on, that got them the funding for the movie, and then they ended up winning.
Whiplash, Smile, the horror movie. You wouldn't know about that. The Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh,
yeah.
That started off as a short.
Yeah, I think it was a black and white short film first. I saw, and So and by the way, so shifting back to this one, it's possible that somebody sees it at the festival and says, "Let's make this into a feature." It's great. I'm putting a lot into this, a lot of funds it's costing, and I have I have DP who is fantastic. He did Breaking Bad, and he worked on Breaking Bad and New Amsterdam. He's fantastic. So we're gonna kill it.
And are you acting in it?
I see. It's so funny. It didn't even cross my mind to act in the first one I did.
Gotcha.
Grown. And someone was like, "You should have played." I was like, "I didn't think." So this time I was aware of it, and I might have a cameo in there.
Okay, good.
I might have a cameo.
Good.
When I'm making a project, I'm not thinking about myself on screen. It's
Gotcha.
just it's like I'm even more passionate about making stuff than acting.
You're gonna be like Hitchcock type cameos.
Yeah, I don't know. That can get a little cheesy. I know M. Night does that.
Tarantino.
Yeah, I don't. If it's something, a big scope of something, and it's fun, and people will find it funny, and it works, then I'll do it. But if I do a cameo in this film, it's going to be meaningful. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like Ben Affleck. He kind of stars in his own movies, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's different. Now, there'll come a time where I'll write stuff that that's for me.
You, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So I know you also Are you working on Little House on the Prairie reboot? Where are you with that one?
So Little House on the Prairie came along last year. I got that, and we shot it in Canada, and that is a reboot. But sometimes they wouldn't even call it a reboot. I thought Little House on the Prairie, in my ignorance, I thought it was just the old show. But apparently these were real people, the Ingalls family, and there were books. And I didn't know.
I never knew that. I just thought it was a show too.
I didn't know. I didn't know until I got the role. And I play another doctor, incidentally, Dr. George Tan, who was a real doctor, a black man. In those days, he was a pioneer. He was the Ingalls family friend and their neighbor, and he saved their lives when they all got malaria.
Oh,
and
wow.
by the way, back then they didn't even know what it was. It was like the beginning of COVID. What the hell's going on?
Right.
He managed to save their lives during this time, and he delivered I think their youngest daughter, baby Caroline, I think it was. He delivered the baby, but conveniently was left out of the original series.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the books, and now Netflix is rebooting it, and Dr. George Tan is there, and his impact on it. But without Dr. George Tan, there would be no Little House on the Prairie.
They wouldn't have made it.
They wouldn't have made it.
Yeah.
So it's incredible. It's an honor to be a part of this, and it is so beautifully shot. It's different. This is not your mother and father's Little House on the Prairie.
Got you.
This is a movie, and it's great. And they're really focusing on what it was originally in the books, and they've done a fantastic job.
And what year is that particular? What's the setting as far as the year?
1869, I think it was.
Damn. Okay, Black Doctor, 1869.
Bro,
I love it.
Bro,
I love it.
Independence, Kansas. He was there when they're building this town, and he was, man. He practiced in different states. He had a lot of properties. He's a very interesting person, man. I really commend Netflix and the producers for telling the truth. I know the woke police are going to come out and say, "Oh, they're making it well. They're adding the black hair." Man, go read the books that came before the show. It's real. Would you like us to change it and make him a white man so you feel comfortable?
Right.
Like
Dr. George Tan was there. Like what?
Wuthering Heights.
The
new one with what's her name?
What'd they do?
Well, technically, the lover, it's a dark-skinned man.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
Yeah, I actually had to read the book for college, and that's how I kind of knew.
Gotcha.
But they always, every time they make the movie, they make him white.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a big thing in the movie.
I don't know what that...
He's kind of like a gypsy type character.
Okay.
But what's the girl from Wolf of Wall Street?
Oh. The Barbie?
Yeah,
person?
the Barbie. What's her name?
Forget her name. Margot
Robbie.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie. Her new movie, The Lovers, is technically supposed to be dark skinned.
Oh, based on the book.
Based on the book.
And they replaced him.
Yeah, but all the movies that they've done with Wuthering Heights, it's been that way.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe there's one or two that they actually... Because he's like gypsy, kind of mixed type character.
That's wild. Well, I'm glad they didn't do that on Little House. Mm-hmm. I'm in there.
When does it come out?
Oh, so this is my first time working on Netflix. And they operate differently. They do whatever the hell they want when they want to. So it'll come out they'll come out when they feel like it. They may punt it till the next fall. I don't know. Wow. But it's I'm hearing this summer 2026. I'm hearing July, and I hope that's true. I hope it's no later than that.
Got you.
Yeah.
Now I know you did a lot of TV stuff early on in your career. You did, did CSI, American Dad, New York, was it New York PD Blue?
Yeah,
New York PD Blue,
yeah.
The Shield. Did you also in The Shield, was Kareem there when you did The Shield? Because he did The Shield too.
I love Kareem, man. I'm not sure. I didn't see him then. I did a co-star, was in and out.
Got you. Yeah. Out of all those particular shows that you did on TV, which one did you enjoy the most?
As a guest star?
Yes.
As a guest star, my favorite thing to work on was a show called I'm Dying Up Here. It was on Showtime. Jim Carrey was the executive producer.
Okay.
And Michael Aguilar. And That was a show that's based on the Comedy Store. So they talk about, stand-up comedy in the 70s. It was great. And I played a Vietnam War vet, and I was a buddy. And by the way, they had a cast of real-ass comedians. And I'm talking heavy hitters, Andrew Santino, Al Madrigal, Eric Griffin. And they're hilarious. So, and I'm playing the most dramatic character I've ever played. And I'm trying to keep it together with these guys that are like Jamie Foxx, man, just up here on the level of funny. So it was challenging, but a lot of fun. And I give it my all. I remember performing this monologue. I had to perform it repeatedly. And it was, so my character gets drunk and he takes over, while his boy is performing on stage. I start saying the wrong shit, talking about Vietnam and what they did. And he's like, sit him down, sit down. I'm on the mic. I'm up there, I'm drunk and doing this thing. And after every time, the background actors, when they cut, they start applauding loud. And after a while, they're like, can you guys, please, we got to get through this. Please stop applauding. And that's just a very memorable moment for me, just being in the room and being able to captivate the room and having people appreciate it. But the best part was at the rap party for that season, Jim Carrey comes in, and mind you, I've done one episode, and I see him, and I kind of walk over, he turns to me, he shakes my hand, he said, thank you so much for the work you did, and thank you for being on the show. I was like, damn.
That's cool.
That was a moment, because he's great, and he is an insane talent, and I didn't even know if he really paid attention. Again, every executive producer is different. Executive producer of a television show. They can be really hands-on or really hands-off. They may not watch. They all collecting checks. That's for sure.
What's the role of an executive producer?
Great question. And I got to make sure I get this right, because I get them mixed up when it comes to executive producing in movies and executive producing in television.
Okay, so there's a difference.
There is a difference.
Okay.
The executive producer on television, unless I'm mixing the two up, it does real work. But then I know some who didn't. One of those, it's a big deal. And the other one is more of like a vanity thing. Don't quote me on which is which. Mm-hmm. Somebody out there is watching this going, you idiot, it's this. I can't remember. But I remember my entertainment lawyer was breaking it down for me one day, and I was like, what? Because that's when I started getting into producing. And by producing, okay. So if you have producer on a film versus executive producer, if it's producer, that means you worked on that mug. You actually did stuff. It's strange because you think executive producer is, bigger. Seems but I think bigger. They make executive decisions. They have a say, or they may have a financial component in it. Okay. But executive producers on television, depending on who it is, they can end up doing a lot of work as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You also worked real quick in a movie that I really enjoyed, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. Oh man.
Didn't your character get bombed?
Yeah.
But you worked alongside Gary Oldman then.
Oh man, look, I got a great story about that actually. So, I auditioned for this movie, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and it was very vague. The sides were, I didn't know what the hell was going on. They didn't give you the script. And so I do it. I eventually get the role. And then they said, you can read the script, but you got to come read it under supervision at Warner Brothers. And that was crazy. It's the first time I experienced that. So I had to go and be watched while I read this whole script. And I'm reading the script, and I don't know how big or small my role is. And I'm looking, and spoiler alert, I get to the end, and I see that Gary Oldman's character is holding this bomb, and he's kind of threatening Jason Clarke's character. Now, Gary isn't a bad guy in the movie. It's just, this is a big turn of events. This comes out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And my character just starts freaking out and sweating according to script. And he's like, what are you doing? You Dreyfus, what are you doing? What's going on? And then eventually at some point, I make a move and I jump and tackle Gary Oldman, and the bomb goes off and kills everybody. I read this and I go, I'm about to tackle Gary Oldman. This is a big deal. Now, look, I've been acting. Let me just say this briefly. I know I've been acting for a long time, and people kind of put us all in a category. I will forever be that little boy in Texas. And all of these things that may seem like I'm bragging sometimes. Now, outside of this is great. This is the format for that. But for people I've had these conversations with, I'll never get used to it. It's incredible to me, and I can't believe it. So there I was reading this script, and I see I'm going to tackle Gary Oldman, and I can't wait. You know, this is going to be awesome. I remember being in New Orleans for a month filming. Well, I didn't even film that many days, but I remember being there for a month. And I show up, and we're going to do this scene at the end. And I'm there with Matt Reeves, the director. He's incredible. He did the Batman. He's got the Batman Part 2 coming out. He did, of course, the Apes movies, and then he did Cloverfield. So he's a great director. And him and Gary, we're looking at the sides, about to do the scene. And Gary, he tells Gary, he's like, well, so what do you think? And Gary's looking at it. He goes, why don't I just press the bomb? And I'm over there thinking, no. I want to, it's my moment. And he's like, why don't I just press it? And I'm looking at the director, Matt. He goes, yeah, just press it. I'm like, damn. So the thing changed. But I'm still there with Gary Oldman doing our thing. It was fun.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's a movie that because I remember when it came out, got a lot of critical acclaim, and at first I didn't quite understand it, but then I don't know, 2 years ago I got into a thing that I started watching it like every other night.
Every other night?
I don't know why.
That movie?
I started watching the trilogy, but that's the favorite.
It is.
That's the best one out of the three.
I agree. And
it's a goddamn Cobra.
Listen, that whole Apes thing is great. And Rise was great. They needed Rise. It was a great reboot to this whole Planet of the Apes thing. But when Matt came in and did, I think his first one was Dawn. Yeah. And what he brought to that, and with Andy Serkis playing Caesar, and how realistic it is, and the villain, I forget the ape's name.
Cobra.
Have you seen that, AD?
Mm-mm. The villain, his name is Cobra.
It's Cobra. Yo. It's crazy. You can maybe, if you don't want to take the time to watch all of them, you could skip the first one and go straight to Dawn as part 2.
Okay.
Dawn of the Planet. But yeah, check out Rise so you can fall in love with Caesar. It's worth it, man. Check those out. I'm gonna stay on you because I want to know if he thinks the same thing. I was thinking that
he's not really that great, but since you said it was good, I'm gonna go watch it.
I don't bother with him anymore. By the way, like the first 20 minutes, 30, there's barely any dialogue. There's
that's true
because you stay with the apes, and the apes are kind of sign language and all that stuff.
Did you see the Batman?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I liked it.
Okay.
Obviously, Dark Knight is still holds like a thing, especially because I saw it as a kid. But the Batman was good. I liked it more than Joker. Definitely.
You liked it more? Oh yeah, Joker's a whole different.
I don't understand Joker is.
Is that the second one?
No,
like Joker.
Joker's a standalone movie.
Yeah, and they did the second one, and the second one is the musical. But the
musical I didn't get.
You saw that?
I hated it.
So did you see the first one?
I loved it.
I didn't love it. I didn't understand it.
I loved the first one.
I didn't love it.
I liked the first one.
It got like a lot of people loved it, and I'm like, this is very. How I feel. Maybe I'm wrong.
The music.
It felt very. The music is out of this world.
I heard bad things about the second one.
The second one has the music in the first one. The score is great. I just felt it was very surface level mental illness type of stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I liked the first one.
They did a good job with it.
Yeah, it looks great.
The performance is incredible. It looks great.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Yeah.
It's captivating.
Yeah,
but it's like, why? Like, what did we need this for? I don't know. I think that's what has been the issue for people.
The musical we didn't need. Period.
I haven't seen it.
I saw it the other day. Yeah.
The musical was tough on me. I was like, okay.
Wow.
No one told me.
Yeah, they didn't warn you.
They did not
saw it in the theater?
Because I was like, we can leave. If they sing one more song.
Hey, man, I remember warning you too.
I know.
I'm like, it's a musical, right? He's like, no fucking way, it's a musical. I'm like, dude, it's a musical.
I was like,
wild. I've not seen it, but that's wild.
No, it took a definite turn of events when I was just like, singing? What's going on?
I can't.
No, It was crazy. Wild. One thing we always ask people like yourself, successful people like yourself, when did you feel like, wow, I made it? Not necessarily you made it, because sometimes people feel like they haven't made it yet. But when you were like, I belong.
I belong. It's a plethora of things, of
Talk
moments,
about it.
and I touched on this a little bit, but what was more exciting, and this does not make any sense, but I just loved great feedback. I love the validation from a room of producers. The aftermath of that, hearing from the agents, like, man, it's down to you and another person. But it's you and, Anthony Mackie 10 years ago.
Okay.
It's like, damn, Yeah. It's so, and if I don't get those, I'm okay. But I feel like, man, I'm in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I'd feel great, and that means more oftentimes than seeing it on television or in a movie. It's just like it's like playing sports. When your coaches or your your family, it's like, yo, you killed that. And the scoreboard would tell you,
right.
Your stats will tell you, but that validation is something else.
Do you remember that first autograph?
First autograph that I signed?
Yeah.
First, nah, because it might have been. I remember early one in Texas, in Houston, Texas, and I remember feeling weird about it. I was actually hanging with my dad. This was like in 2009 or 10, and there was a kid that had come up and asked for an autograph or asked for a picture. I think I had some. I can't recall what I had, but I was like, I was embarrassed because I was embarrassed because I think the kid had heard I was an actor but didn't know me from anything, and so I felt bad. Like I felt like I wasn't worthy of giving this kid this thing.
Gotcha.
Like, you're an actor? Oh, can I have your autograph? I was like, my dad was like, what are you giving? I was like, it's mine. And so I remember that moment. But when people start to see your work, when people saw Crash and they liked it, and that's great. Photos, it's more so photos. People like taking photos.
Okay.
And I love that. I love that today.
I love hearing you love that, because sometimes you get people who aren't willing to give that photo. And I'm like, these are the people that make you relevant.
Man, look, I have been dissed. I mean, embarrassingly dissed. I mean, I know I got a story that would go viral, but I can't do it. But they say don't meet your heroes, and
I can already see. I think I know who it came from.
I don't think you'll ever guess. I shouldn't say hero, because this person's, he's not a hero, but just a big musician. And the circumstances were such, I won't even talk about it because I'm going to be teasing too much. I'll say this. My point is, after feeling that, could never make somebody feel like that. And outside of those experiences that I had as a fan, I still would be the way that I am.
Got you.
But I remember those. And when people are coming up to me, especially after New Amsterdam. Oh, and I just went to Saudi Arabia and Dubai last year, and they sold New Amsterdam everywhere, and that was incredible to have people overseas come up saying, "Oh, I love your New Amsterdam." Like, yes, let's take the pictures. I love it. But I'll never forget what that felt like. So I want to make sure that people have a good experience, and it means a lot to them. Let's do it.
Yeah,
I love it.
No, that's awesome. And then awesome. Also, I would say that Hollywood moment. What was that like? Where it was just so, I know you've done so many great movies. Like you said, you got Beyonce, we got Eddie Murphy. Yeah. It's so many superstars. and you're there.
Eric Dane, getting back to my friend Eric Dane, who would take me places with him. He took me to this private party in Hollywood at, I think it was at Soho House. And it was some sort of celebration, some agency thing. And I go in there with him. He's like, "Oh, come with me." Just walking. And the first person we walk in and see is Leonardo DiCaprio.
Wow.
And I meet him. And he's talking to Eric, and him and Eric talk for. I see Scarlett Johansson. I mean, we're all right here. And I'm like, hey, Scarlett. She goes, "Hey, hi, how are you?" And it's something about those environments where you really feel amongst, and they treat you well. Saw Danny DeVito in there, and I just walked up to him and said, "Where you been, baby? Where you been? You ain't called me or nothing like." And he said, "No, I'm sorry. We don't even know each other." And we sat down and had some shots and just hanging out. And I was like, "This is hilarious." Common was there, Childish Gambino. It was great. But it was moments like that, whereas Leo and Scarlett and Eric is like, this is my friend. It was great. Also, I had another similar experience with Dennis Hopper when he had his art gallery in New York. In 2009, he invited me out. I took my boys. We flew out and went to see this amazing. He was a great, prolific photographer. He took photos of Dr. King in his "I Have a Dream" speech. Dennis Hopper was there, just taking photos. So his art is incredible. But there at this art gallery was Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats and all these people. And then we had a private dinner party at a restaurant there in New York, and I'm hanging out with them, and it was incredible. Alicia Keys was amazing, and again, like I was once an extra in an Alicia Keys music video, and it was "How Come You Don't Call Me." If it's the Prince cover she did.
Got you.
You can pause it and see me in the front row while she's performing, and I remember meeting her that day. She was nice, very nice, and all those years later to be able to meet her in this capacity, where I left this out. So Dennis, at this dinner party, stood up and they were like, speech, because his photography was so great. And he's talking and he takes a moment to say, "And I'm on a new TV show, Crash, and I'm really excited about it. And this is my partner on the show, Jocko Sims." He takes a moment to do that. And people start clapping. And I see, I'm looking at Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats because I'm a big music fan. And I'm like, this is great. And they're just, Alicia's filming. And I was like, wow. And so afterwards, I got to speak to them. And Swiss Beats gave me his number. He's like, "Oh, I love artists and I love what you do. And that's incredible. You get to act. You'll take my number, blah, blah." I'm like, what is happening? So at Empire State of Mind with Jay-Z just came out and Alicia Keys. Our Crash season 2 billboards were up in New York. It was just an amazing time for me. And so it's moments like that where I'm, again, being validated by somebody you look up to, and they're treating you well and they're taking you places and you get to be amongst.
Did you share the video story with Alicia Keys?
The video story? No. And you know what's funny? I met her again like last year. I went to see her play Hell's Kitchen. She has a Broadway play that's about her life, and she just happened to be there that night. And my friend Shoshana Bean is in the show. She kills it. She plays Alicia Keys' mom in the show. Incredible singer. And I did tell my friend Shoshana to tell Alicia about these stories, and she did tell. She passed the message on. She thought it was cool. Yeah.
And before we get out of here,
yeah.
Is San Antonio going to win the championship this year?
All right, so
let's get to it.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, man. I just was talking about this with my boy. So my boy, he's a massive basketball fan. He lives in New York. If he has a team, it's going to be the Knicks. I'm very critical of my team, and I watch them very closely. I'm a big Spurs fan. I grew up going to Spurs games. I grew up in San Antonio. I was going to games since I was 7. I was in high school when Tim Duncan was drafted, and I was already many years past college, and when he retired. We had 20 years of incredible basketball, man.
Yeah, hell of a run.
So the whole thing with Kawhi Leonard was painful, how he left, and I was just heartbroken. And for 6 years, obviously, we're not in the playoffs. we get Victor Wembanyama. And I was actually there at the draft, sitting front row to see us select Wemby, because when we had the number 1 draft pick, because I'm like, it's coming full circle. You know, we're about to do this again. And his highlights speak for itself. If you watch the game, he's been incredible. Our team is incredible. However, and by the way, I did not expect them to do this quickly, what they're doing. They just lost to New York. Prior to that, they didn't lose a game in February. 11 straight games, right? Numbers out of control. I'm watching, and I'm seeing still some young mistakes. And I hope I'm wrong. But I'm trying to manage my expectations. So I don't see them getting past the second round unless they get some of these things together. They got to get these turnovers down.
Right.
Stephon Castle, get these turnovers down. I think you started out the season with 5 turnovers a game. We got to get you to 0. You know what I mean? We got to defend that 3-point line. Three-point thing shot is such an important factor in games now. Remember when it wasn't?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, we gotta control that a lot more. We gotta defend more, and we gotta hit. Yeah, just take the turnovers down. But in Wemby, look, Wemby can do anything he wants, right? But I want him to fall back a little bit on the dribbling the ball at the top of the key and doing his thing, because that sometimes turns into turnovers.
Right.
That's like, yo, bro, you're taller than everybody else. Just sit your ass down there. Go like this.
Right.
And just do this.
Yeah.
Basically. You know, so until they get those kinks out, I don't see them winning it this year. But they did, like I said, do a lot better than I expected. So I don't really know, but we'll see.
Got you. But you guys tend to beat Oklahoma every time y'all see them.
We've played them, which is crazy. We played them 5 times this season because of the NBA Cup.
Right.
And yeah, I think we got them 3 or 4 times.
I think 4.
I think
4 and 1.
Yeah, 4 and 1.
I think we just match up well, incidentally. But look at New York. You know, we lost against New York in the Cup. To say it's the Spurs-Knicks final. You know, we lost against New York in the Cup. We lost against New York terribly 2 nights ago. We beat ourselves. And then last Christmas, not this past Christmas, last Christmas, we lost on Christmas Day game. There's 2 examples where you have you would say a more superior team out of OKC that we're kicking their ass.
Right.
But then New York, you know, it's all about the matchups.
Yeah,
You know,
that's true.
We'll see. We'll see. I hope I'm wrong. Go Spurs, go.
I just want to thank you for visiting the pod. We appreciate you.
It's my pleasure.
Man.
It's my pleasure.
Great conversation.
I appreciate
Great conversation.
I was really looking forward to this, and you let me down, honestly. You know, this is fantastic, man. I commend you guys for what you're doing. It's so positive and so awesome. And I cannot go. You have taken over my algorithm. And prior to me meeting you and talking to you, I was like, "Oh, this is great. What's this with the background?"
Right.
It's very recognizable. It's smart. I love what you guys are doing, man.
Alejandro is the genius behind
Really?
that. Yes, he's the genius behind that.
Alejandro, you killed that.
He's the genius behind that.
I'd love to come back.
Oh,
Okay, yeah.
anytime you have anything to promote, this is your new home.
Thank you.
You can come anytime you want.